Welcome. I'm Ginger Dunaway, founder of Spiritual Yogi. I'm so glad that out of all the things out there on the internet, you have landed right here, right now. And I believe that you are here listening to this for a reason. Please just give me a moment of your time and notice if anything I have to say resonates with you on some deeper level. When I was in my teens and early 20s, I was holding a lot of anger and depression inside that I didn't know how to let go of. I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I had moments of feeling completely and utterly alone. It wasn't until I started practicing yoga that I started noticing this anger and depression lifting. I began to feel light again, more comfortable in my own skin, more solid in who I was on a deeper level than I really understood at the time. I still felt lonely at times, but it wasn't that achingly deep loneliness that could take me down into the depths of hell like before. After years of consistent practice, I decided to go to yoga teacher training, not to become a yoga teacher, but to pay tribute and to learn how this transformational practice was really working on me on so many levels. I was fortunate enough to have a friend who recommended Kripalu up in Massachusetts, which just happened to be one of the best yoga centers in the world. I went to Kripalu back in 2006, and one of the first things our teachers asked us was to journal about what we wanted to get out of the program. I'll never forget writing on this little piece of paper that I just didn't want to lose this practice. I never wanted to forget what all this practice had come to mean for me and what it had done for me. I wanted to set it like an anchor in my life because I knew deep down that if I did, everything else would fall into place. Spiritual Yogi has become that anchor for me. It is a constant reminder to make this practice a priority and to pay it forward to others. I want to share with others the depth of this ancient practice and how relevant it still is for us today as we navigate careers, marriage, relationships, kids, mortgages, politics, bullying, whether you're 13 it's experiencing it in school or 40-something experiencing it in the workplace or in a friend group, and the emotions that run through us like anger, guilt, jealousy, and depression. What a lot of people don't realize is that yoga began thousands of years ago as a means to find happiness and fulfillment in life, as a means to build a deeper relationship and experience with God. There's an ancient Sanskrit word called samvega, and it means a determination to find a better way. This was the impetus that drove these ancient yogis to begin what we now know of as yoga and meditation, a means to start studying themselves and a way to find more meaning in life and a deeper relationship with God. When I was at Kripalu, I learned so much about the philosophy and teachings of yoga. I felt like I got exactly what I'd come for, an understanding of how this practice was working miracles in my life and a determination not to lose this practice along the way. I also learned about a text called A Course in Miracles from one of our yoga teachers. I remember him telling us how transformational this text was and that it was something that we may want to look at some point in life. Being the nerdy student that I was, I ran straight down after class to the Kripalu bookstore to pick it up. But when I found it on the shelf, it looked more like a small encyclopedia than the light transformational novel I was anticipating. I made the choice then to leave it on the shelf. It wasn't until years later that I began reading it, and if it tells you anything, it took me 2 years to read. But it blew my mind wide open, just as I had been told that it would, and it amazed me how similar it was to the Yoga Sutras. I was guided and inspired to start writing all the similarities that I found between the Yoga Sutras and A Course in Miracles, which turned into creating workshops, e-courses, and ultimately writing my own book based on a blend of these two transformational teachings and practices. Here, Spiritual Yogi was founded. I want Spiritual Yogi to feel like a place for you to come that feels like deep conversation with a friend, group therapy, personal life coaching, and the most fascinating exploration of your own self. If any of this resonates with you on some level, then you are in the right place. You can start by joining my email list so you will get weekly yoga vignettes and guided meditations that you can practice anytime. Weekly reminders to stay with this phenomenal practice. You can register for Inner Peace Project for completely free. That's my 7-day meditation challenge that will help you immediately experience the peace, the calm, and the sense of sacredness that we all so desperately need and crave in life. From there, you can choose if you want to go deeper with my book or other e-courses. Allow Spiritual Yogi to be your anchor, to remind you of the importance of this practice and allow it to bring you closer to God, closer to your own self, and closer to a life that feels guided, sacred, and filled with meaning. Remember, yoga is a spiritual practice and it is life-changing. So if you're ready, let's begin.